The Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance games were games I really enjoyed playing with a friend back during the PlayStation 2 days, so it came as a bit of a surprise that the first game was getting a re-release for modern consoles with 4K support, and that it dropped so quickly. Though at the time of this review, the Switch, PC and mobile versions of the game have yet to be released. The original game made excellent use of the hardware available at the time, and was very well received on all platforms. Yes, even the Game Boy Advance version of Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance was pretty good and had its own twist on things compared to the console version. For those familiar with Dungeons & Dragons, this was the first game to implement the then recent 3rd edition or 3E rules, which had just come out in 2000, as well as the first time a video game in the Baldur's Gate series would be released on a console as opposed to a computer at the time. The timing of this re-release I feel is to drum up excitement over the upcoming game Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance, which is part of this series but is not to be confused with it. In this game you can pick from one of 3 characters: Varn the Human Archer, Cromlech the Dwarven Fighter and Adriana the Elven Mage. Whoever you choose arrives at the city of Baldur's Gate seeking adventure and glory. They unfortunately arrive at night and get knocked out and robbed by thieves working under the mysterious Khan. Thankfully the city watch was close by and the thieves were only able to get away with your golden equipment. Your character makes their way to the Elfsong Tavern, and this sets off a chain of events which begins with you hunting rats in the cellar of the tavern to try and find the people responsible for robbing you, to uncovering evil forces plotting against Baldur's Gate. The game is a real-time action role-playing game in 3D with an isometric 3/4 top-down view and a rotating camera. The game can be enjoyed as a single-player experience, or you can enjoy cooperative play with a friend. For a game originally released back in 2001, how does it hold up today? More importantly, is it any good? Find out in The Good. I've always been fond of the gameplay from the Dark Alliance games. Wandering around killing enemies and looting golden items off them, as well as destroying boxes and opening chests for more golden items, is something I find hard to get sick of. The locations in the game were quite varied, and the anticipation of finding a new weapon, armour or accessory that you can equip or sell in order to buy something better was the main selling point of the game to me, if you excuse the pun. As your character goes around killing enemies and completing quests, they gain experience, and once they have enough they can gain a level. Upon leveling up, your character's health and mana will be fully restored, and they will gain skill points which can be spent on a variety of skills and effects, with every 5th level allowing you to put a point into an attribute. Playing through the game with a friend is a blast as you can coordinate your approaches and support one another, though by playing alone you can reap all of the benefits of killing everything yourself for a sense of satisfaction. This also adds to the game's replayability factor, as most loot is randomised each playthrough. You can also import your character from an existing save into another game, though I feel that trivialises the game a little since it can be abused to level up your characters and obtain gold. This is somewhat subverted with the extreme difficulty, which will allow you to import a character, but if they're not imported from an extreme run of the game, they will simply be added into the current game with nothing but the clothes on their back, so at least with that you'll have to earn everything. Of course, to unlock extreme mode you'll need to complete the gauntlet, which is unlocked when you beat the game for the first time. The gauntlet mode puts you on the shoes of the Drow Ranger Dritz de Erden, as he has to defeat all of the enemies in said gauntlet and escape within a time limit. Once extreme mode has been cleared, Dritz will become a playable character in the story. I do like the progression of the story. The game is separated into 3 acts, and depending on who you select may affect some changes in dialogue and some lore expansion, but not the overall experience. For example, if you selected Cromlech, once you get to the Dwarven camp there might be added dialogue, as one of the inhabitants might know Cromlech and is more accommodating to him as he's a fellow dwarf. There's also a lot to take in as you reach new locations and learn what you have to do, but I did enjoy listening to the characters talk about things and uncovering some of the backstory behind the events of the game. You don't need to be an expert on the Baldur's Gate games and by extension the Forgotten Realms universe to truly enjoy this game, though if you do have some background knowledge, then you'll be right at home with some of the terms, characters and creatures featured in the game. As excellent as the game is though, it isn't without its faults, so let's explore those in The Bad. You would think that with today's technology the game would have some form of online multiplayer capability, right? Well, at the time of this review the game stays strict to a re-release on modern consoles with 4K support. This also means that cooperative play is still strictly couch co-op. The friend I mentioned back at the start of this review doesn't live in my town anymore, and we still catch up by playing games every now and again. We were dismayed when we found out that we couldn't play this game online with each other, though thankfully we reached a compromise through the PlayStation's SharePlay feature, though having to reset the sessions every hour was a bit of a nuisance. Nonetheless, it would have been nice to have seen some online feature implemented so that you could play with others, and I'm hoping that's part of the reason why the PC version of the game has been delayed. I also found the game to be a little lacking in side quests after the first act. During the first act, where the Elfsong Tavern is your hub, you can speak to some of the patrons who may ask for your assistance or have problems for you to solve, and you can complete these for them in return for items and experience, so long as it's done before the next act. When you're in places such as the Dwarving Mining Camp, you'll find the area is more lacking in regard to side quests, and by lacking I mean none at all. As your enemies grow stronger, so must you, and enemies don't respawn after you kill them or leave the area. So the amount of experience you get is limited, though I feel this adds to the challenge. Admittedly though, it would have been nice to have had some more NPCs provide side quests to expand a little on the world, especially for those new or unfamiliar to the Forgotten Realms universe. In saying that though, that's all I have here for now, so it's time for the opinion. Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance is still as fun as I remember, and for those wanting a nostalgia trip, it's a good game to return to. The gameplay and main story were enjoyable, and the Dark Alliance or Snowblind engine that the game utilised served as the basis for other games in the years to come. The only gripe I really had was with the lack of online multiplayer and that the game is lacking in terms of side quests. But Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance was just a taste on how far this engine could be pushed, and I'm looking forward to covering its sequel Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance 2. I did run into an unusual bug in the game, which NPCs and enemies would walk in circles for some reason. It wasn't game breaking, but it was pretty funny though. That issue has since been fixed with the release of version 1.03 alongside some lighting issues. If you're looking for a fun 2-player cooperative action RPG, then Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance is a good starting point, and it will make for hours of entertainment. With that though, it's time for my rating. I would give Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance.
This isn't the place for that. 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 This isn't the place for that.
Thanks for watching and stay tuned for the next Infinite Backlog review. If you enjoyed today's review, feel free to check out some of our other videos and subscribe for more. You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram and our Facebook page. Once again, thank you for watching.